The night was calm, yet the air was heavy with questions. The moonlight slipped through the curtains, touching the half-open diary on the table. Inside that diary were words that could change everything, promises, secrets, and a truth that no one was ready to hear. Arjun sat by the window, eyes lost in the horizon. For years, he had lived between faith and doubt, love and solitude. The man everyone called Brahmachari, devoted, detached, was finally trembling before the weight of his own heart. In the next room, Meera paced in silence. Every sound of her footsteps echoed like thunder. Her voice was calm, but her thoughts were a storm. If love is a sin, she whispered, then why does the heart keep returning to the same pain? The clock struck midnight. Time itself seemed to pause. Arjun rose, his reflection in the mirror almost unrecognizable, a man torn between duty and desire. He opened the door, and for the first time in weeks, their eyes met. No words came at first, only silence that spoke louder than any confession. Meera broke it softly. You've built walls of vows around your heart, Arjun. But you forgot that love has wings. Arjun turned away. Love, or illusion? I took an oath, not for the world, but for peace within. If I break it, what remains of me? Her eyes shimmered. And if you never feel again, what remains of you? Lightning cracked across the sky. The room flickered between light and shadow, just like their hearts. The diary on the table fluttered open, pages written with memories. Each line carried laughter once shared, dreams half spoken, and a promise broken too soon. Arjun walked toward it slowly. Everything written here, he murmured, was before I understood the price of devotion. Meera stepped closer. And devotion without love is emptiness. Their voices trembled. Between them, years of restraint melted like wax before a flame. The rain began, steady, cleansing. Arjun closed his eyes. For a moment, he felt free, not from duty, but from denial. Meera moved to the window. Every storm ends, Arjun. Maybe this one will, too. He smiled faintly. Or maybe this storm is who I am. Morning came. The first light entered their world like a quiet forgiveness. The temple bells rang in the distance, reminders of the life Arjun had promised to live. But today, even the bells sounded softer, as if they too questioned his silence. In the courtyard, the family gathered. The elders whispered, the younger ones pretended not to hear. They all sensed something had changed. Arjun stepped forward. I have lived my life by rules that kept me pure but not alive. Today, I choose to live with truth, not fear. Gasps filled the air. Meera stood behind him, not as temptation, but as truth itself. His mentor, Pandit Raghav, looked at him sternly. You were chosen for a path of renunciation. Have you forgotten your vows? Arjun bowed respectfully. I remember them. But I also remember that the divine does not live in silence alone. It lives in compassion, in connection, in courage to love without possession. Raghav's expression softened, the teacher seeing not rebellion, but realization. Then go, he said quietly, and let your actions define your prayer. The courtyard fell silent. The decision had been made. Meera's tears fell freely. Not of sorrow, but of release. Arjun turned to her. This isn't an ending, Meera. It's the first truth I've ever spoken. The two walked away from the temple steps, not escaping, but returning to life. Days passed, and whispers spread. Some called it betrayal, others called it freedom. But Arjun never argued. He had nothing left to prove. He lived quietly, teaching that purity isn't in denial, it's in honesty. One evening, he returned to the temple. Alone. The same bells rang again, this time greeting him like an old friend. He knelt before the sacred flame. I did not abandon faith, he said softly. I discovered its meaning. The wind shifted, as if blessing his words. Outside, Mira watched from a distance, smiling. She didn't approach. She didn't need to. The connection was beyond words now. Years later, their story became a quiet legend, not of defiance, but a balance. People spoke of a man who dared to blend devotion and desire, who proved that vows lose meaning if they cage the heart that made them. The diary remained, still on the same table, its pages now filled with calm handwriting, reflections, prayers, stories of forgiveness. And on the last page, a single line. Love and faith are not opposites. They are two wings of the same soul. The story ended not with an answer, but with peace. Because some tales are not meant to resolve, they're meant to remind us that every heart fights between duty and dream, and only truth can bridge that distance. And as the final sunset painted the sky, Arjun's words lingered in the air. Even a Brahmachari is human. And in being human, I found my God.